Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Mia, the founder of Mall Portugal, an advisory company that helps you buy property and rent property in Portugal like a local. Today I do not have my partner Rafael. We want to continue the interview with John last time. We want to talk about more about living in Portugal, the experience. And so we are also inviting more people who moved to Portugal with us to share their experience. So today we have our very, very good friend, Mata. We met her from work, from actually finding you apartment, and then we became really good friends. So welcome to our channel.
Yeah.
Please talk a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, like what have you been doing, and yeah.
So my name is Mata. I have been living in Lisbon, Portugal for the last year and a half. I work as a digital marketer. So I'm a freelancer, digital nomad, kind of doing the digital nomad thing here in Lisbon. And I love it. I recently launched a camper van business also.
We'll talk about more.
Yep. That's the whole idea was kind of geared towards remote workers and digital nomads to kind of create a space where people could feel comfortable spending long periods of time living in these small spaces and exploring this country, you know? So yeah, it's really nice. But yeah, it's been really exciting.
And, obviously the first question is, you're from New York, right? And you lived in Singapore, in Spain, and you traveled many countries. Why Portugal? Why Lisbon?
Oh man, the list is long. But Portugal is an amazing country. It's really, really beautiful. For how small it is, it offers so much, you know?
I mean, it's incredible.
It's incredible. The beaches, the food, the people are super kind. You know, I lived in Spain for 2 years and I was kind of like, man, I'm so curious about Portugal, you know? And then you start seeing all this news and this stuff about Portugal being a really great place for digital nomads. So I was really curious. So me and my partner decided to move here, and it's been amazing.
And you came here through D7 visa, right?
D7 visa.
How was the process like for you back then?
Yeah, so at the time I had residency in Spain. So I was able to apply through the Barcelona consulate.
Okay.
I don't know if it was an advantage or disadvantage, but at the time that I did it, I was approved super fast. It only took about 40 days. I did the whole process by myself, except for finding my apartment, which is how I came across you and Rafael. A friend of mine recommended you and your service, and you were able to find me an apartment really fast. And that really helped me streamline the whole D7 process. And yeah, it was relatively easy. It was straightforward, you know.
I think
a few complexities, but like if you do your due diligence, if you do all your research, get all your paperwork good, like yeah, it was smooth enough, you know.
Also, I think because you have plenty of experience, you know, handling this kind of paperwork by moving around so much and traveling so much. But yeah, we definitely met when we were soft launching the rental service.
Yeah.
It was tough already.
It was.
Like something you guys liked and we turn around, oh, it's gone.
Immediately.
Yes.
Immediately. I was like, there's no way that it's this hard, you know, like how is the rental market so difficult?
Especially you guys were in Barcelona, which was also still is a very, very popular destination. I think no one expected that Lisbon becomes such a hub, which is also the reason why rental is so hot, and also the property market in general, because so many people are moving here.
Yes.
And you guys did it sort of early.
Yes. We kind of did it, I feel like, before the rush that happened, you know, like in the last like year and a half. So even then we were still thinking, we're like, Mia, do you think that we can like still bargain a little bit, negotiate a little bit? And she's like, kind of gotta make your decision, you know? And like, I mean, man, it was surprising to say the least. And I think it's still kind of like this. Or even more so now, you know?
Worse, and especially you guys changed the apartment this time by yourself, right? You also notice like, oh, it's really tough. Like landlord can really request whatever they want.
Whatever they want. I mean, I've had the most shocking experiences here with housing. Our landlord now asked us for like a introduction, a formal introduction, in like the form of a cover letter.
Common nowadays.
It's crazy. I was like, you want what? And then he was like, yeah, just an introduction. Let us know who you are, why you're a good fit for our apartment. And I was like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Here we go. Definitely different. The market's hot right now. You have to kind of do it. You know, go for it, and that's it. You like something, just make a decision, because there's like hundreds of other people that are after the same place.
Yeah. And you guys put in a lot of effort. And also this is like, as a foreigner, well, I know now you know as well, starting a business in Portugal. Tell us, how was it like for you? Or how is it since you're still running a business in Portugal?
Yeah. So I think we went into it a little bit blind, you know, because Vlad spent a lot of time in the UK and I'm from New York, obviously. So we're kind of used to a pace that's a bit faster, you know, or like if a company tells you this is going to be done by this date, it's going to be done. That's not the case here. You know, it's not the case. So we found out real fast, you know, that we had to have a lot more patience. We had to really take a step back and kind of just let things be.
So you need to breathe.
Yes, yes. And we have to keep reminding ourselves we are here now. We have to kind of adapt, you know, and it was like that. So as far as getting the company started, the paperwork and stuff, this took a while. Then the actual conversion of the van took a while, you know, because we were told, hey, it's going to be ready in 2.5 to 3 months. We're like, awesome, amazing. We didn't get the first van handed to us till 7.5 months later.
Yeah,
you know,
it's common.
And it's common. And it wasn't even like the builder's fault. There was so many elements that were like not working.
True.
I remember we had the guy that was doing the upholstery. He said, the seats will be ready in 3 weeks, right? Or 3 weeks time. And we're like, okay, cool, perfect. It's like really good timing. You know, it's what we needed. But then he became unresponsive, right? So no, he wouldn't answer the call, wouldn't anything. So we're like, okay, that's weird. So our builder went over to his garage to figure out what was going on. Yeah. And he had a sign on the door that said, we're off to holiday, be back soon. Also there. And I was like, what? You know, like, so yeah, it was definitely interesting. But now that it's all done, it's great, you know, we can focus on what's important. But it was definitely interesting and different.
I think this goes hand in hand with also at the same time, you don't see a lot of stressful people here, right?
Not at all. Everyone's very relaxed.
Yes.
And it was more just like, calm down. Yes. Everything's going to be okay. And I was like, okay.
I think we talked about this very like so often, especially conversation between the two of us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm still amazed. I'm here for over 6 years now. I'm still amazed. For example, if we check into a hotel, sometimes it's converted from this very old land, like old beautiful building. So it's a little bit like maze. So sometimes the receptionist, they will offer, oh, can we take you to your room? And we always say, yes, you can. Mm-hmm. So during the time from the reception to our room, if you ask any question, most often they would stop and answer you. So this for me, it's like
rather than walk and talk.
Yes, I'm
it's like, oh, let's stop. Yeah, it's different.
So
yeah.
Every time I'm like in my mind, it's like, God, I have a meeting. You know, I have a call to get to. You know, I need to set up my computer Wi-Fi. But you also feel like you will feel super rude to say, oh, I'm sorry, like, can we? But it's because the pace, it really patiently, this was built in 1872.
Like, it's really nice too. Yes. But at the same time, it's like just not what we're used to, because we're both from big cities, you know, and it's different, you know. I don't not like it. I think it's nice. It's special.
A human touch,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
It's definitely special. It's a hospitality touch that's definitely very nice and superior, but just different.
It's very different. Like in Lisbon, which is the capital of Portugal, so many times, I don't know, I'm dropping my phone or drop something from my bag. People who walk by, I would say 99%, they will stop and help me pick it up.
Yes.
Like, hello, you're on your way to somewhere. Thank you so much for helping me.
The thing that really gets me, it's the bon dia, like tudo bem, and I'm like, oh, we're so nice. And it's just different, because where I'm from, everyone's in a hurry. No one has time to say hello, you know, and it's just not to strangers at least, and it's really it's nice. It's a nice little change.
So I think this balance a little bit, I don't know, maybe we can call it a little bit frustration of the culture difference, right? Because you are frustrated, you're waiting for your van, you're waiting for the paperwork to go through for your company. But then you go outside and you meet your neighbor, and then you meet the people from cafe. You're like, oh, okay, it's worth it.
You see, the pace of life is part of the reason why we came here in the first place. It's kind of one of those things where we're like, okay, we need to take a step back, you know? Maybe we were living in an unnatural pace of life.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, there's a reason why people are so happy here. Like, I don't know. So yeah, you can see, I can see both sides of it, you know? So yeah, it's
I think
nice.
the biggest difference, like day-to-day difference I have with Raphael is he needs to sit down for lunch. I don't. He needs to have like a napkin, plate, and glass of water, like set up.
Everything is take your time. Do not think that you're gonna have a quick lunch anywhere. That doesn't exist. Like, it's just go there with knowing you're gonna spend some time, knowing you're just gonna, you know, it's gonna be a while, and yeah. So
because they really value this, right?
Yes.
Like now I am a little bit toxic to him.
Yeah.
Like, because I am always like grab a sandwich and go, and we eat while we're in the car. He started to do it a little bit, but he still prefers much more than sit down.
Yes.
With the cutlery.
Even drinking coffee. Like, I sit at the cafe now, and I'm like, I'm gonna have it.
I love
some cafes
to go.
Yes. Some cafes don't even have like to go cups, and I'm like, this is different.
It's very weird.
Yes.
If you ask, like, can I have it to go? They'll be like, oh,
what do you mean? And I'm like, so yeah, these changes definitely, I've seen them in myself where I sit down and I enjoy my coffee, and like I never did that before, you know? So yeah, it's a nice little change. You have your balance, you know, take some, you lose some, like all good.
And as a digital nomad here, compared to your experience in Spain as digital nomad, do you feel any difference? Or
So I lived in Madrid and Barcelona, right? And I was doing the digital nomad thing in both, right? Well, towards the end while I was in Madrid, but the whole time in Barcelona. And there is a scene there. There is a community. There's obviously, because these are the main cities. But Lisbon is just, it's almost like there's a dedicated world to it.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so many co-working cafes, so many co-living spaces, so many communities, like
activities.
Yes, tons of activities that are dedicated specifically for digital nomads. I've met so many people that are doing really cool and interesting things that came here, you know, on the D7 also, or I still don't know that many people on the digital nomad visa, but it's because, you know, D7, you were able to apply with remote work income until this other visa came out.
Yeah.
So I don't know, I feel it a lot more prevalent here than I did in Spain, even though I had a a co-working office membership. I did all, but it's not the same. Here it's like a way of life. Even there's like a whole part of the city that is just dedicated to this.
I would say my personal experience is also, it's very easy to make friends. Meaning I went to a lot of networking events. I was traveling a lot for my work, but then whenever I have time, I just go to you feel very safe, and then you meet like-minded people rather easily than any other big cities, which surprised me. Even now, we even have mutual friends.
Yes.
That we didn't know that we both know those people. It's at the same time also small world, but people are really open.
Yes, and people doing cool things here. It's like when I was living in Spain, I didn't make so many friends. Not that there weren't events, but it just wasn't that, like, I don't know, I can't really explain it. I just didn't make that many friends over there. Whereas here, I've already made a ton of friends. I have a circle, I have a couple circles, you know, like it's really nice.
Also, another personal experience from me, because I also lived in Spain. I felt like in Spain was quite separated. Like when you go to some networking events, it was mostly expats. You don't really see a lot of Spanish people.
Yeah.
Here you see way more local people in those.
It's kind of all intertwined, which is, it's nice because you still feel like you're being a part of the community, but like just a bunch of people doing cool stuff, you know? So yeah, I definitely feel like the community is, I'm not gonna say more inviting, but it's been more interesting here for sure. You know, it's definitely been more interesting.
And being digital nomad, what gave you the idea to create this camper van business? It's like,
So, first of all, Portugal is a very camper-friendly country. It's an incredible place to explore in a camper.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's amazing. Yeah.
But moreover, they even have like stations in all these different towns where you can just pop in, refill your water for free, clean the van if you need to. You know, it's just, there's campsites everywhere. It's just a beautiful place to explore. So Vlad and I discovered van life here, right? So we were initially renting vans and they were okay. But we work remotely, so it didn't feel so comfortable to spend like extended periods of times in some of these vans. So I was like, what if we created these really comfortable tiny homes on wheels, you know, that are geared towards people that kind of want to travel slowly, they work remotely, they need the comforts and amenities of maybe like an Airbnb or a small apartment, but like on wheels. So that's where the idea came. And we just got to work on it. You know, we found a van completely empty. I made the design. You know, I added like a standing table kind of part.
Super cute.
We have an extendable back table, USBs everywhere. Like they even aesthetically pleasing, you know, very homey. You know, they have toilets, showers. You know, they have pretty much everything that you would need to feel comfortable. So that's where the idea came. And we didn't know how it would be received. We just wanted to create something that people like us would love and enjoy and just hope for the best, you know? So we kind of just went for it. Then we got a second van. Same thing. They're both quite different, but offer the same amenities. And one of them has a rooftop deck. One has a projector with, you know, you can watch Netflix and stuff. So elevated experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been going great. We've been really busy. We're almost booked out for the summer already.
Right.
So it all works out, you know?
Yeah, but in this way, I would say Portugal still has potential to grow, right? Because initially it is a very small market. You know, so many delays that caused from like when you're waiting for your van, when they're converting it, or so many delays we have sometimes for our renovation projects. It's because we're waiting for certain things that hasn't made it here, because usually they will ship it to Spain, for example, or Germany, and then they distribute it to here because we're such a tiny market.
I know.
Yeah, but business-wise, I also think there's a lot of things still can be done. Like, you know, your camper van is so beautiful. And
there's a lot. There's a lot of opportunity here.
Niches,
because there's so many people moving here.
Yeah,
there's so many tourists coming in. I mean, I think that like Lisbon is the most visited city in Europe this year. Or they're on the road to be, you know? So there's a lot of opportunity, you know, take that how you will, but we've just been so pleasantly surprised, you know, how interested people are in van life and exploring Portugal, and us being able to kind of connect the two, you know, to travel and like do it in a special way, so you really get a good feel of the country. It's really special, you know.
I mean, the facilities and the infrastructure and this definitely helps, but also how safe it is, how beautiful the country is, and how easily you can reach to certain spots by highway. For me, this is incredible. We have a lot of clients asking us, because a lot of our clients, when they buy property with us, they've never been to Portugal. So they will ask for advice. Like they would ask, should it be close to train line? Is it convenient location? And then we always have to say, you know, in Portugal, actually road trip, like driving is the best way to travel the country.
It's incredible. It's so accessible. Even being based in Lisbon, just an hour away, you have the most incredible places. Like, it's like you there's always something to see, always something to explore. It's really amazing. Like,
and around like 2.5 hours we'll be in Spain from where we're
Spain. Exactly. It's incredible. It's very well connected. And then Lisbon specifically, the airport is connected so well, you know. So it's a very nice place to be if you want to travel around Europe too.
It's a good base.
It's a great base. It's a fantastic base. So
because you guys also traveled a lot in Europe, right?
It's important to us. So for us, we have to be near an international airport of sorts, you know. So it's kind of been like the perfect little hub for us. You
have to make the most of
Yeah.
the fact that you're living in Lisbon.
Absolutely.
This is how we feel as well whenever we have time. It's like for a lot of major European cities, it's like 2 hours away. Why not?
Yes, it's incredible. We just spent a few days in Ibiza a couple weeks ago. You know, we spent the holidays in Germany, in Austria, in Czech Republic, like, and everything's just 2 hours away. You know, it's really not. It's great located. Like I can't ask for a better base.
Another important question. I think a lot of people are really thinking about this. We're wondering, do you find Lisbon expensive now?
Oh, housing is
Rental housing.
rental housing. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like it's been shocking because when we first came here, like we talked about it, the rental prices we're getting there,
Yeah, but not.
but not what they are now. Not what they are now. So it's a bit surprising because as if you've done some research, you know that the salary here,
Yeah.
the minimum salary is not high at all. Like it's actually quite low. So for it doesn't make sense,
Yeah. Yeah.
the rental prices here, but that's what I would find expensive. As far as groceries, I find that we spend half, maybe less than I used to buy groceries back in the States. Alcohol, if you like wine and beer, very cheap.
If you like it.
Yes, if you like wine or beer. I think spirits are still quite on the pricier side, but that's anywhere. But what I do love about Portugal the most is that you don't really need to spend a lot of money to go and travel around the country. There's so many nice places to just visit. So I don't know. Renting is what you're going to spend the most on,
Yes.
I would say.
And this is highly caused by the low supply. And
Yes.
high
Oh,
demand.
100%.
Yes. We briefly touched the rental at the beginning, but still it's really tough right now.
Yeah.
Before we would advise our clients like calm down, let us negotiate.
Yeah. Oh, you can't do
Now
that
we
now.
will say decide.
Yes.
You want to take it or not?
This apartment that we just moved into, we decided on the day of. And on this day, they were like, yeah, we have a few people interested. Go ahead and like, you know, send over your presentation. I was like,
Your cover letter.
what? And it's that hot right now. It's crazy, you know? So I don't know. I would say the renting is definitely on the pricier side. If you think you're going to come here and you know, find cheap rent, I think it's extremely difficult. Otherwise, though, cell phone bill, much cheaper. You know,
Gym is much.
gym is much cheaper. Dining out obviously depends where you dine out, but it's significantly cheaper. Like 2 people going on a date in New York will run you like $200.
Yeah.
Here you can have a really nice dinner with a bottle of wine, you know, starters, main course, dessert, $100.
Yeah.
$80, you know, like, so yeah, when you do the way out, I think that overall cost of living is definitely less when comparing to places like the States or the UK or more expensive, you know, areas, of course. But just beware with the rental prices.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people moved to Portugal a long time ago because it's cheap, low cost of living, right? I don't think it's the case anymore.
No.
Because during that time there was not so much attention on Portugal either. It was sort of like this little country next to Spain. You'll be surprised how many people ask us, what language do you guys speak?
I'm not. I know it. I've had people even in front of me where I'm like, why are you speaking Spanish? Like, would you go to Spain and speak Portuguese? I don't get the logic here, you know?
Yeah. So, but now Portugal is such a popular destination. I actually don't advise our clients to move here because it's cheap. It's not one of those places anymore.
Don't let that be the reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my whole point, because regardless of the rental property price, regardless of the low inventory and high demand, this country also brings you so much more than just, oh, yay, great life quality.
The quality of life here is superior, you know? And like I said, I've lived in a lot of different places, but for everything that you get, I think it's a great quality of life. Is it the cheapest? No.
Yeah.
Not anymore, at least.
Yeah, exactly.
But as long as that's not your main reason for moving here, I think you're okay.
And again, I'm gonna emphasize this again. I said this so many times, like one of the things we have here is priceless, which is safety.
Yes.
I think we all take it for granted.
Yeah.
We forget how it is like in some parts of the world. Like I went to Brazil, I was also like I went out like
Yeah.
10 p.m. Sao Paulo, and my colleagues back then like, "Are you crazy?
Yeah.
Go back to hotel." Like, I forgot because I'm so used to in Portugal. It's so safe. Like so many times in metro, people like tapping on my shoulder. Your bag is open. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
and
Especially as a woman, I think it really matters and it makes such a difference to feel safe where you live. You can go from point A to point B and you feel fine. You don't feel like you have to keep two eyes behind your head, you know, which is like how I lived my life in New York. It's just what it is. And there's so much comfort in knowing that the crime rate here is very low. I think the worst that can happen is theft, you know?
Yeah.
And not to say to not be careful, I'm not saying that, but it's, you definitely have a lot of comfort in knowing that overall it is a very safe place to live.
Yeah. And we're definitely not encouraging you to walk around at 3 a.m. somewhere like, you know, dark alley. No,
No, exactly. I'm like within reason, okay? Like,
okay, so now let's move on some less positive things about your experience moving and living here. What is the part you found most difficult when you were moving here and after you moved here?
so I would say the bureaucracy, the red tape.
Famous for that.
I know, but I feel like it's kind of expected. Europe has this kind of reputation for being super bureaucratic, and Portugal is no different, you know? So I would advise anyone that is coming in on a residential visa and all that, like have all your ducks in a row. Do all your research, do your due diligence, make sure you have every single document that you need to have. Make sure you do not leave anything out because this can be the reason for major delays or the reason why you don't get approved for your visa. I've seen people get rejected for their D7 for not having a good enough letter of intent.
Oh.
Like literally we're told that like, yeah, it's just not a good enough reason, something like this, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Yeah, so I'm like, just if you don't think it's that important, it is. Like consider every part of the process important, you know? The first thing you need to do is just get your NIF number in your bank account. You can't do anything really in this country without it.
Yeah.
Without both things. And then from there, just get every little thing that you need. Make sure you have everything in order because this could be a headache.
Yes. We notice like the rental service we do, everything we do is organic demand from our clients. So we were not going to launch rental, but we were testing in and out, and then finally, because the demand was so strong, we really wanted to help because we know the market very well.
Yeah.
So we launched rental and NIF and bank account. We always encourage people to get it as early as possible. Because, for example, many years ago, or just a few years ago, opening a bank account in Portugal was not difficult at all. But now it would take time, and the compliance is more strict than before. So get it done as early as possible. That's why we are soft launching our NIF and bank account as well. Because so many people come to us, it's just like on the very initial stage to prepare and to plan to relocate to Portugal or to even invest. Because if you buy property in Portugal, you need NIF as well.
I think it's what is the most, I think, frustrating part of when you are embarking on a residency visa, whether it's the D7 or the digital nomad visa or the golden visa even, is that there's a lot of unclear things.
Yes.
You know, like initially I was in a unique situation because I had residency in Spain at the time that I was applying for the D7. So I was under the impression that because I'm American, I needed to hire a fiscal representative to get my NIF number and everything. So I was in the process of having you guys help me do that, you know? But then come to find out that because I had residency in Spain, I was able to get it myself. Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. But like, you cannot know this unless I had to read so much online to get to that point, you know?
Even sometimes when you research, it gives you different answers.
Yes, it was a lot of different answers. I was even reading that it doesn't matter where I have residency. As an American, I have to apply for my home country. Yeah. Come to find out, I was able to apply from the country I have residency in. So it was a lot of back and forth, you know? I'm like, I did it on my own. But looking back, I probably would have hired someone. I should have, because it was a lot. It was a lot to do. You know?
Even my own personal things, I hire a lawyer to handle it for me. But even so, whenever I go to SAF or whatever governmental facility and department, I just bring a huge bag. I just put in
everything,
paper,
everything. For my SEF appointment, after I was approved for the D7 and I got to Portugal and it was time for my SEF appointment, I was told I only had to bring like my lease, my rental contract, proof of health insurance, private health insurance here, and my NIF number, I think. I brought a folder like this because I'm like, I'm going to have everything. If whatever you need me to have, I'm going to have everything in this folder and it's going to be like nicely, separated and divided for you. And luckily, everything went smooth. But yeah, just beware, because there's a lot of delays. There's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
So make sure that you know what you're getting into.
This also is like, I would say probably is one of the most difficult things after you move to Portugal, right?
Yeah.
It's the delays, the uncertainty of certain timeline.
Because there's a lot of question marks, So like I said, be prepared or hire someone to do the work for you, because at least if you have people here on the ground, like they know what to expect because they're constantly dealing with this.
Yeah.
So it was very overwhelming at a point.
It's also like a cultural difference, and also like we always say code of conduct. For example, if you have a doctor appointment here, when they say 3, it's usually 3 o'clock. You need to like check in on the machine, and then you still have to wait. I wait for my doctor like 40 minutes. It's normal. Like now I'm used to it. But before I was expecting her to see me at 3.
Especially if you had an appointment for a certain time.
Exactly.
The first time I went to the doctor, same thing. I went to I had an appointment. I went to check in at the desk. They said, no, you have to take a number. And I was like, a number? I'm like, okay. So I go to take a number and I had to like put in all my details, which I thought was a bit odd because my details are already in the system because I, have my insurance there with them. And then it took another 45 minutes to then get seen, but then I had to hand in my number and then like tell them more information. And then I got to sit down and whatever. So it's just a different process, but just like always account for more time. Don't ever think you're going to do something super fast here,
Yes. And be open-minded. Don't use don't assume anything.
Remove that mindset, you know? Like me, I had to turn off the American mindset, like where,
or the big city mindset.
Big city mindset, yeah. I just turned it off. Now I'm super like, I have all day, I'm like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, you just don't look at Portugal as this like super shiny object, It's amazing, it's beautiful.
Nowhere is. Yeah.
But nowhere is perfect.
Exactly.
And you're gonna find the things that you like, you don't like, and that's normal. It doesn't mean anything other than the fact that it's just a normal place.
Well, thank you so much for being with me here today. And I hope you enjoy this kind of conversation. If you do, please let us know in the comment below. Of course, I will link a camper van link in the description below. You guys will be very surprised because it's super, super cute. I really love it. Mm-hmm. Don't forget to follow our Instagram and TikTok. We are quite active there as well. And Mata has TikTok account also. We'll link it in the description below. And thank you for watching and thank you for being here again. And see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.